When women dare to fully be themselves, to rise up as the divine beings they are, to operate in their magic, their sexuality, their power, they are always labeled one thing: wicked. Hi ladies, welcome back to another episode of Wicked. Today I want to talk about our sacred womb space, and this is very, very important, probably one of the most important topics that I could ever talk about. Everything else that I say on here really doesn't hold its weight in anything if your sacred womb, your sacral chakra, is not embodied. And you can listen to all of my episodes and obtain the knowledge in your mind of this. But if you're not integrating it and rooting it down into your womb space, it really is just something up here in your mind. And we, as a collective of women, and not by fault of our own, have really just been brainwashed and disassociated from this part of our body. We don't really pay much attention to it. We don't understand it as the seat of our intuition. And we really are taught to think of it as more of a burden to have a womb. We're constantly fighting against laws that tell us what we need to be doing with our womb space. We hand over to a patriarchal structure the care of our womb space. And the majority of spiritual content and understandings and even old literature all actually is a masculine-based way of doing spirituality. And until you really dive deep in the underworld, which is your sacred womb, and we'll get into that, you're really going to feel quite disembodied. And so this is another way of knowing your body as a temple. Like in my earlier episode that I called our body as a temple, I talk more about the physical aspects. And now I want to dive into the spiritual, emotional aspects of this. So our womb space, so this is where our sacral chakra is. And this is actually the seat of Shakti. This is actually the temple of Shakti. This is where that divine feminine life force energy resides. And it is not active. And it's up to us to connect and activate this energy. Now, I'll get into deeper understandings of this later in the episode, but let's just talk about this for a second. All in our sacral, okay, which is our womb, we hold trauma from this lifetime, past lifetimes, and also from our ancestrals of our matriarchal lineage. And this gets passed down to us, and we carry these burdens with us. And unless we are willing to go in and do this work, A, it will manifest as physical problems, and B, we will continually be disassociated from this part of our body. I can tell you right now that if you were insanely connected to this type of your body and started doing this type of work, the last thing you would do is hand over the healthcare of this area to men. And even women within the medical structure are indoctrinated through patriarchy to understand this part of our body. I have friends and relatives, my beautiful cousin, who is very into this type of work with hormones and just getting to know our wombs to this level. I interviewed my cousin on an earlier, maybe I called it the Cycle Alchemist or something, but I did interview her for one of my episodes. If you want to go back and look, the way medical doctors are trained is a fraction of what you can know on your own. And my cousin absolutely proved that in that episode. She was even saying how she went into the doctor with a journal filled with different things that she had written out about her own cycle and what she had been noticing. And the doctor didn't even know what to say to her. This is so layered. It goes from our healthcare to birth care, all of it. And so the main layer, the first layer of this really is we are taught disassociation through the disembodiment. and the detachment to our bodies in order to look a certain way. And interestingly enough, I saw a TikTok video earlier of this guy saying, like, man, if I had to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight like you women, like if I went that low in calories, I'd be losing like a pound a day. Like, how are you guys even surviving this? And I actually commented on it. It's harder for women to lose weight because we're not supposed to. Our bodies are meant to carry weight, and it's for the health of our womb because it's up to us to continue procreation of the species. It is literally up to women. That's why there is so much fighting and debate about this all the time to enforce women to do something. So the thought of that it's up to us scares the fuck out of the patriarchy. Because literally, if we say no, there is no more. So uh the whole like so I'm just gonna tab on the physical for a minute. So uh when we were pre-industrialization and surviving out in the wilderness, women needed to have a certain amount of body fat and we'll say a certain amount of weight in order to maintain healthy wombs and healthy babies and breast milk. And we no matter how deep we can go into a calorie deficit, sometimes you'll see a lot of extreme numbers depending on like height and stuff like that. But going into a severe deficit in order to lose weight, it's actually because it's not natural. We are meant because there was always time periods of famine. Like, we don't really experience that anymore in our society. And one of the problems why everybody is so overweight, it's not just because of seed oils, guys. Okay, it's because we have this abundance of food. And so we're eating huge portions of food all the time. But the woman's body is set up so that if you are in a deficit in nature where there is no, they're not able to hunt, you're not able to gather and things like that, that your womb is protected. And this is why we actually get that belly fat around our womb. And it's harder for us to get rid of that. It's not, you can call it whatever you want, a fupa, a muffin top. And there's always these targeted things to try for women to try to get rid of that. But that's really a barrier of fat to protect your womb. And it holds there for this reason. And so even within our society on a physical level, we are constantly targeted to disassociate from our body and to make us hate our bodies. And how many women, they wake up and they look in the mirror constantly and it's like they're starving themselves in order to attain a certain weight, or you are picking at your face, like, I don't like my nose, I don't like my eyes, I don't like my hands, my whatever it is. And there's this huge pressure for us to look a certain way. And this is why I hate so much the filters and stuff that they are giving us now with AI. And it's crazy because like all the filters have the same look. It's like the same eye, the same lashes, the same lips. And they encourage us to inject ourselves, and everybody's face is starting to look the same, and they want your body to look the same. And this all just makes money. Like, this all just comes down to money. But what happens in this as well is we become more and more disassociated from our own body. And this allows this structure to come in and tell us what to do with it. And it's in a way insanely disempowering because it's easy for us to hand over our body yet again to patriarchy. So the more that they can get women detached from their body, the easier it is for them to manipulate us. So now for the spiritual emotional aspect, because that's definitely what I want to focus on in this episode. You can go back and listen to Our Body, Our Temple. It's like one of my third episodes I did, I think. So our womb, it stores all of our emotions. And this is why a lot of times women will end up with a lot of hip pain, because that whole area of our body stores all of our stress and traumas that we've been through. And so if you, go through a time period in life that's really stressful, if you experience betrayal, if you experience abuse, all of those things, all of the body, the physical response, yes, it stores in the fascia, but for women, we hold this in our womb. And this is why we have physical symptoms like really heavy periods and cysts and all kinds of issues going on with our ovaries and our uterus and things. This is all unresolved trauma that is just holding here. Our sacral chakra is actually known as your underworld. It's your hell. Okay. And this is what I teach in the coven and in my shadow work mentorships. That is your hell. And if you don't descend into that as a woman and allow these things to come up, you will experience a cutoff from your own intuition. And you've been taught to ignore that anyway, because you're taught to ignore your body. And then you will also start experiencing other physical symptoms. And a lot of times we don't realize it, but a lot of our unconscious fears that we have and mindsets that are projecting onto our reality, if we don't work through those and face those and do that type of work, things will keep manifesting in our life over and over again. And this is where we get stuck in patterns and cycles. So it's really deep work and it's hard work, but we were made to do this. It's just that we don't have the tools in our modern society, and we don't have circle anymore, and we don't have, women talking as much anymore with each other. It's like trying to shift back to that. But for generations, we didn't have that. We've been purposely isolated to disempower us. When we are together and we talk about these things, like this is why I love the coven so much, because sometimes I don't even teach anything. Like I have nothing to say, and we just chit chat and we start venting and we talk about that. And that alone is womb work. Okay. Having other women hear you and witness you of what you're going through and support you. That's all you need sometimes. But the sacral center, so let's talk about it as your intuition, and then we'll get more into this. Like I said, this is a very layered topic. So this is the temple of Shakti, which your root chakra is actually the seat of Shakti, and it's up to you to actually seat her first so that you can go ahead and do this work in a very safe way and still feel grounded while doing it. Otherwise, it can get really bumpy. So the sacral chakra is associated with water, and it is perfect for that, because when you start doing this work, you will be swimming in a sea of emotion. You will be diving into the depths of hell, which is the most watery fluid thing you can do, because as you do that and activate that, what ends up happening is these things manifest in your life. This is because the creative center is your sacral. So the matrix or the Maya, the illusion, the dream, whatever you want to call it on your spiritual path, but this reality that you perceive, that you experience, all comes from your sacral. Just like you birth a baby and it comes from your womb, you're materializing something spiritual into matter, which comes from the word mother. So is the word Maya and matrix. It all comes from the root word mother. And so to bring something spiritual into reality, the physical reality, you do that in the womb space. You do that from the sacral. So is your life. Your life and everything you experience and perceive, every hard material thing that you go through in life and that you experience and that you create and that you touch. And this goes from money all the way to just the experiences that you have, all comes from the sacral. And so when you start tapping into this and you start learning how to become the objective observer of your reality, you will be able to see patterns in your life that are coming from the sacral. So the sacral chakra is both your heaven and your hell. Okay. I teach on this in depth in my new Yoni course that I just released. You guys, that's the last course. I swear. I say that, but teacher at heart. So I'm probably always going to be teaching, but I really don't want to make any other courses like this. This is the thing for women. Like this is the work we need to be doing. So when you go in and start doing this, and you start understanding how to become the objective observer, you will see things appearing in your life, and you'll start understanding your perception more. So the sacral is both heaven and hell. Okay. It is our bliss. It is our pain. It is our fears. It is our joy. And so when you are going through life, I mean, it could be in a 24-hour period. You can wake up in the morning and experience something really beautiful. You can halfway through the day experience something very hellish. And when you start understanding what's going on, it is showing you what is in your sacral, because everything in the Maya comes from sacral. And so you will see the projection of your unconscious, which is your hell, which is your shadow. You will see that projected into reality, and you will also see your conscious mind, which is your bliss and all the things that you want and desire. So you experience desire through here. This is what actually fuels you to go forward. There's nothing wrong with desire. Okay, nothing. Desire is what fuels you to do things. It's even what causes you to want to procreate, okay? Um, but desire is your fuel. But then on the other side of that, you have like these fears and these hells and these things that you don't want. And that is all your unconscious mind. And that is also found here. You cannot have one without the other. And this is why in my course, I walk you through guided meditations in order to access this safely and properly, as I call it, the demoness, meeting your inner demoness. Because if you can meet her with the same energies that like if you're man, if so, you know, we get the heaven and hell thing a lot in the West. You can call it whatever you want, but if you are able to embody the demoness energy, you will see how powerful it is, and you will be able to face the fears of your own inner demons in the sacral without it overpowering you, without you feeling like so afraid. And what my goal is to get you ladies to be able to go in and out of this during the day as needed, as you're facing fears. And it may not even be day to day. It could just be time periods in your life. I've gone through, you know, the last 2 years has pretty much, like, I'll be honest, like nothing but hell for me. And I continually had to live in this energy in order to make it through. And it's a lot of really hard work, but I have been really blessed, and I chose to use that to be able to bless other women with this understanding. I was going through spiritual initiations on top of this, which actually led me to this understanding. And I'm very, very grateful for everything that I've gone through because of it. And I don't want to say that these things happened so that I could do this because of this is like destiny. It's not. I chose to turn this into something. You as a woman, you are able to bring life and bring death. This makes you so powerful, okay? In some of the like underground spiritual paths that I'm a part of, they only allow women to hold priesthood because of this fact. Because men can only bring death, women can bring both. This means that everything that you allow to die in your life, you have the power to build it as something new. And you have because you do create life naturally by nature, it's actually easier for you. So it's up to us to choose what we want to do with these things. Do not leave it up to, oh, this happened because, and this is my purpose. If you get rid of that, you'll put responsibility back on yourself to choose. You have to understand that it's a choice. You can choose to make something of it, or you can choose to allow it to, you know, you go out to sea in the current and get lost in it. And so I kept the mindset, as I've always done in my life, I'm going to make something out of this. Like, while I'm here making medicine for myself, why not make it for others too? And so, no, this course isn't just my own, like, you know, I make shit up in my head as I'm going. I obviously, you know, like I said, I was going through different spiritual initiations, and I am very heavily studied in areas. So this does have a spiritual backing, which I don't really want to talk about that. And me, in regards to that, I don't like labels. So anyway, moving forwards. So as you're becoming the objective observer of your reality, you will see all the things that you don't want in your life that are really icky. And you're like, oh my God, I don't want to go through this. I don't know how to face this. Even people in your life, okay? People in your life that keep reappearing, and you are like, why do I keep dealing with a person like this? So say everywhere you go, your boss acts exactly the same. It's just a straight asshole, or someone who picks on you. Or every time you're in a relationship, they end up, you know, running off with somebody, or they do. So it's an abandonment wound or something. Like, people, different face, same character. What you will start to understand when you're doing this womb work and you're actually willing to dive deep into those shadows, what you will understand and begin to realize is that that is one of your inner demons manifesting on the outside so that it can get some attention. It's trying to tell you that it's there. Okay. And most of us, we go around not knowing this. And so we just think everybody's an asshole. When you start doing this type of work and you start going into those inner hells and make yourself more comfortable there, you can go ahead and meet that demon. You can walk through the trenches of your hell as the demoness, and you can look that demon eye to eye. You can talk to it. You can maintain rulership over it. You can send it to do things for you. I'm not going to get into that in this episode. That takes more like one-on-one work because that's, yeah. But you can take charge of this when you decide that you're going to be the devil of your own hell and it's not going to run your life anymore. And there's nothing more powerful feeling than that, because when you've met your demons and then people show up in your life and start acting like that demon, you recognize, you've already named it. You've met it. You've looked at it in the eye. If you're me, you've licked its face to show that you fucking own it. And you will look at it and be like, oh, silly demon. These tricks are for kids. I've dealt with you before. You don't scare me. And you will look that person dead in the eye, and they will not bother you for a minute. And then other things will happen too. You will start recognizing your own character traits that society or people, whatever, maybe you grew up in religion, will like label as demonic that you've been shaming yourself for. And you will just own that shit. You will just be like, this is just a part of me and I'm not going to shame and guilt myself about it. Okay. And when you do that, there's liberation. There's liberation in it because you're also owning parts of you that you have shamed away. And when you do this, you integrate. You stop saying, I need healing to liberate myself from this. When you keep saying over and over and over again that you need healing, you are telling yourself that you are not whole. And when you do that and you shame that part of you back into your hell, into the deepest parts of it, and you're like, go hide. I don't want to deal with you. That's awful. Don't act that way. It will push forward to try to manifest even more to get you to notice it. And situations will arise in your life to make you act that way. Until you face it and decide to not shame and guilt it away and actually integrate with it, that's when it will stop manifesting, because you're not shaming and guilting yourself anymore and you are fully fucking loving yourself. You are loving yourself into wholeness. You're like, you know what? That dark part of me that I've been labeling, that I've been trying to fix and change and do all this shit, I actually love that part of me now. And if you want it to not manifest anymore, it won't, because you integrated with it. There's a big difference. I had somebody recently on my TikTok actually ask about this, and I'm gonna, I don't know that I want to even say, maybe I will. She actually had asked me, so this is getting really personal into my life, and I guess, you know what, whatever. If it fucking helps women out there, I'm gonna stop caring. So not that I've always been an open book. It's just that I'm in a time period of my life right now where that can actually be dangerous for me, until I close up some chapters in my life. But I'm going to share this because it keeps popping in my head, so I feel pushed and I'm going to go with my body. A woman commented on one of my videos and she was like, because I was talking about dark nights of the soul. And she was like, I'm in a dark night of the soul again, and I keep getting suicidal thoughts. And I thought I dealt with this and I healed this part of me, but they're here again. Like, why is it not going away? And she's like, when this comes up again, like, what is happening? And I said, well, those pathways have been traveled down many times before in your mind. And so when you keep going down those paths, like, they're always there in your mind. It's just choosing what to do with that. If you go down and visit that and allow your mind to go, know that it's your choice to not do it. And you have the power to not do it. And just because you're entering into that dark space, You can let your brain go, but pull yourself back. You have to claim that power again. And that's when she brought up, she goes, but last time this happened, I thought I healed it. Why is it back? And so I told her, for me personally, this is actually something that I've always dealt with in my life when I have gone through extreme dark nights, starting from, I mean, really, really young. Okay. My mind would go down that way. This is so for me, especially because of understanding astrology and birth charts, I know that that's something that's just there, but that's something that's also tied to my sacral because again, it's past life stuff. It's, who knows what type of thoughts my ancestral on the maternal side had. This could all just be a part of my makeup. And especially when I found journals when I was really young, having thoughts like that, it's like not normal, right? For like a 9-year-old to be thinking these things. And so I told her, I was like, to this day, when I am in dark nights, there will be time periods where it gets so dark and my mind wants to go that way. But I stopped shaming myself for it. I let my mind think all those things. I know I'm never going to fucking do it. But I let my mind go. It wants to go. Okay, so go that way. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to shame myself for having that. Our society really shames both men and women when they admit shit like this. And I'm not going to be afraid to admit shit like that. Everybody has dealt with dark time periods. Maybe you don't go as extreme as suicidal ideation, but many, many people do, and they're scared to talk about it. And that's what the problem is. And it's why a lot of them end up doing it. So I was honest with her. I was like, my brain will do it and I'll fucking let it. Okay, get your fix. Go down that path. Think about it. I go deep into that sacral space and I sit there in it. Okay, do it. Go for it. I let it run free and then I pull it back out. I'm like, you're done. I don't shame myself, guilt myself for having those thoughts, feel like embarrassed about it. Why is my brain? No, it's a part of me. And I own that shit. And you know what? I love it. I love that part of me because it makes up me. Nobody's going to convince me that I should hate that part of me. It has been with me since I was a child, and I don't care. I have enough power, and I know I'm never going to fucking act on that. Fucking ever. So please don't worry about me and be like, oh my God. No, it's never going to be a thing. And I'm not going to shame myself that is actually a pathway in my brain. I love myself too much to do that. I love every sick, twisted, labeled, whatever part of me. It is what it is. I'm always going to have 100% self-acceptance of me. And I think this is a huge part of women's healing because especially women, we own the darkness. You carry the void inside of you. Again, you can both bring death and carry life. That is a huge fucking spectrum. That is the beginning and the end. Do you know who the alpha and the omega is? You, sister. You are the alpha and the omega. It's not a man in the sky. It's you. You are the beginning and the end because you bring life and you can bring death. It's you. It's your womb. You carry that power in you. And so I know I have that power over my own life. I can give it life and I can give it death. I choose life all the time, no matter what. I choose to love me and embody all of that. And those we'll call them darker. So like those underworld energies that that take me down into those depths. And I'm not saying that like I am you guys, like I said, that these are things in my own self I've been dealing with my whole life. And I've been into hardcore spirituality for over a decade now. And I chose paths that go into this type of spirituality for a reason so I can master this part of me. But I have the ability to truly love the darkest darks. When I'm in those dark spaces, I love going in. While I'm in it, do I love it? No. But when I'm embodying my inner demoness and I go in there and I swim through those dark, swampy energies and the crying and the depression and the anxiety and all the things that we hate, I love that. I feel grateful after it that I'm able to experience emotion to that fucking capacity because that's so deep. And to me, that's a blessing. We are here as humans to experience the whole spectrum of human emotion, the good and the bad, and all of the spirituality bullshit that teaches you that you can only go to one side and you have to stay high vibrational and go towards the light and love and light and all this bullshit. It is stopping you from embodying the true goddess that you're here to be. Because again, you can bring life and death is scary for people. I've looked death in the face many times in many situations, not just by what I was just talking about, but I have faced it many times in my life. And going into those deep, dark shadows is a superpower. And being able to swim through that and be able to be empowered by it, that is a whole other level of understanding. I don't self-medicate it away. I don't try to run from it. I may smoke a lot of cigarettes during that time, but hey, I've just come to accept that part of me too. I know a lot of you that have known me for a very long time are like, wait a second. The health guru is smoking cigarettes. Yes, sometimes I do. And that's another part of me that I love too. And I'll embody her when she wants to come out and I'll put her away when she's done. When you get into these roles of 100% self-acceptance, and as a woman, you are able to embody emotions that men can't. They simply can't. They don't even have the hormonal makeup to let their brains understand emotion to the capacity that we can. Okay. When you are able to actually take and step into your power and be able to do this, the power that you will feel fucking unstoppable in your life. Because the little demons in your life that try to poke at you, you won't give a fuck because you've already met them. When people are trying to tear you down, you don't give a fuck. You've walked those shadows before and survived. You looked it in the face and you didn't care. You swam through that shit and survived it. When the fucking waters were billowing at you, you floated on that shit and was like, fine, then fucking take me away. And the more, it doesn't ever stop. The more and more and the depth doesn't stop where you can go. And the deeper and deeper you go, you'll find more and more passion, you'll find more and more power, and you'll become more and more unmovable in this lifetime. This is why sacral work is so important. And I will preach this shit for the rest of my fucking life because it is the thing that has gotten me through out of everything that I've done. It's this work, the embodiment of the womb, the embodiment and the ownership of my Shakti energy through the sacral chakra that has gotten me through. And what will also happen during this time period is that you will become more in tune with your body and your intuition because this is the seat of your intuition. So when you get back into your sacral space and you really start embodying this, right? So you're, the angel and devil on your shoulder, that's your sacral, that's you. Okay. So when you start actually embodying that, you start getting more in tune with your body. Your body is your intuition. Your body is your intuition. Okay. Your body will tell you a yes or a no before your third eye. Most spiritual practices, they focus on third eye, right? Bringing up energy into the third eye, do the pineal gland thing, focus on the third eye, third eye. This is your masculine energy. Your third eye is your masculine energy, okay? Everybody has it. It's not that it's male, female. It's just we both have these. It's the Ida and the Pingala in the body. Up here is your Shiva. This is Shiva. This is your logic. This is foresight, okay? You, woman, have Shakti, okay? And the whole thing is a unified Shiva and Shakti, right? And so when you start getting into this work, you'll start getting more in tune with your body. And the thing is, a lot of us, because we're carrying around so much trauma, have a really hard time filtering through, is my body telling me yes or no, or am I having a trauma response? And this is hard to navigate at first until you start doing this work and understanding your traumas and facing and integrating with them. As you do it by nature, you will start getting stronger and stronger intuition from your body. You will know. Trust me, you will know because you will start feeling things. People will be telling you stuff and you'll feel it in your body if it's a lie or if it's truth. You will be with a man, your body will be rejecting them. Logically, they may look great on paper and everything is making sense, but there's something in your body that doesn't feel right that's telling you no, but you're not listening and you don't know why. And so because you don't know the why, you go with logic and you stay. Now, on one level, what ends up happening, you have sex with this person and then you start getting UTIs or yeast infections or like sex is painful. That's your body telling you. But some of y'all just going by those fucking gummy bears on TikTok and saying that it's your fault and you eat too much sugar. No, it's your fucking man. Okay. Now, on another level, what will end up happening is you will keep talking to somebody and your logic is telling you, but everything seems fine. And then there's chemistry. Let's talk about chemistry for a second. Fuck chemistry. Thank you. The hormonal response you have to somebody, it could just be that they would be good with procreation with you. Okay. B, a lot of chemistry sometimes is a trauma bond. And the more chemical reaction and like that, I want to call it like an insatiable desire that you get for somebody through that chemistry. And maybe you know they're bad for you, or maybe like there's something there that's telling you, like, I don't know, like I'm feeling this insane chemistry with this person. Logically, it seems like the right thing to do, but there's something else in my body that is kind of like warning me. But it's really, it's not super loud. So you ignore it because it's the least loud thing. The chemistry and the feel-good oxytocin is doing something else. That little tiny voice that you omitted and set to the side was your intuition. That was your Shakti. But because you're so detached from the womb space, from the sacral space, you weren't able to catch it. That is supposed to be the strongest voice. Okay. And don't hate on yourself. And this takes a long time and it's a forever work that you will always be doing. But your body, your pussy, your yoni will always tell you. And I teach this in the yoni course because without yoni worship, girl, you got to get into it in order to really gain that power. Okay. That is your goddess. She's beautiful. Okay. You shouldn't be ashamed or embarrassed of her. And the more you touch her and the more you look at her and the more you talk to her, the more she'll talk to you. And she will start running your life. And you know what? It's not going to be in a promiscuous way. It's not going to be like, oh, let's go out and run around and sleep around and do all this shit. Because I'm telling you right now, your yoni don't want that. Your goddess don't want that. She has boundaries, she has standards, and she ain't afraid of abandonment. So when you start activating this more and more and doing the sacral work and all the inner things that come with that, this starts becoming really powerful. And it's not just about relationships, because fuck relationships, right? Fuck that for now. We won't even go into that. But making day-to-day decisions on what you should be doing with money, with your job, with your career, with where you live, with your children, everything. Because remember, the matrix, the Maya is feminine. It comes from your sacral. So the more in tune you get with this space, sister, the more you will know what to do and how to bend reality and how to make things how you want them. This is when that whole receivership things comes in the feminine. Because you will do a lot of work from this space and see things come forward in your life, and it will feel effortless, but it's not. You won't have to do as much of the masculine hard labor, move forward towards destiny. Those things will start coming to you. And let me tell you why. Do you understand? It is a lie about the sperm swimming to the egg. The egg sucks the sperm. It picks the sperm it wants and is active and then sucks that shit up. So if you want to translate that to reality, receivership isn't because you receive a penis. I hate that shit. Well, the woman receives, so you rest and receive. You actively receive. When you start doing this work, you will pull future timelines, future, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to manifest. I don't care the language that you use what feels comfortable to you. Whatever you're trying to manifest in your future, you will pull that shit Your yoni, your pussy, your vaginal walls, okay, those strong muscles will pull that from the future. It will pull that from the ether into your matrix, into the current timeline in which you're living. And it will choose what is best. Even if it is not what you have in your head, because remember, this is logic. This is your masculine, your feminine's down here. It knows what's best. Just like your egg knows what the best sperm is. It will pick and it will say, this is the closest to what you're thinking you want, but it's better. And it will pull it into your reality. And you'll take steps forward and you'll do the things. Most of what you're doing, woman, is dreaming up something that you want, activating your sacral, talking to your yoni, which is your goddess, for it. And then she will start pulling that into reality. But you know what ends up happening? Your reality starts shifting and things start crumbling and falling apart. And this is where the death part comes in. Remember, you can do both life and death. You're trying to create life, but something has to die in order to pull that in, right? So things start crumbling and then you start sweating, right? But just remember, this is what you were made for. You were made for this. You can do both. This is why the demoness exists. So when this dark time period happens and you're having to say goodbye and hard challenges are coming, you can enter into that and be like, okay, let's go for a swim. How are we going to navigate this? And you're able to do it. And so you face those challenges and you face those fears. And within that are lessons. See, we view it as bad, 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 bad. But if you can stop labeling it and you're like, okay, it just is. What am I supposed to be doing here to expand myself? And it is prepping you. It is prepping you for that thing to come into the material. Just like when you decide to get pregnant and your body decides that to pull in that spirit baby, you know what happens at 9 months? Prep work. A whole fucking human is materializing in your body so you can bring it into existence. The same thing has to happen to you. You have to form the material realm to bring that spiritual thing into existence. And then you get to experience it and be happy and blissful because you had the baby, right? That's what happens. You're putting in the request and you are impregnating your spirit realm, the spiritual realms around you with that request. And now it's like, the goddess between your legs is like, okay, let's materialize it. Let's materialize it. But all this stuff in the next 9 months has to change so that it can hold this that we're bringing into reality. And a lot of people quit during that time because they don't know this is what's happening. And they revert back to old patterns. And then that can't actually ever materialize because the expansion isn't happening for it to enter. If you start gaining this viewpoint on your life, this is very important because you will look and everything is about your perception. Everything that you experience and everything that you go through is based on your perception. And if you can get more in these sacral energies and understand them as a woman and learn that it is your power and how to swim in it, you will start viewing reality different. You will start embodying differently. You will start seeing things differently, and you will be able to push yourself to go through those times. And it's easier when you are in community. It is very hard doing these things in isolation, and the patriarchal system knows that. Even if, I can't tell you the women that have showed up in my life over the past 2 years, especially in the fucking coven, man. Even sometimes it's just little words of encouragement that I get from the women in there. And it's like, damn. And hearing their stories, that's the best. Sharing stories is the best because when other women come through with their breakthroughs and things are happening, it's like, wow. You're seeing them do the work and getting breakthrough. And it's like this joy overtakes you. And you're like, yeah, keep going. Let's do it. We got to be in community with the sisters. We can't, this whole isolation and the lone wolf woman is the one that's in it. Bullshit. That's a wounded woman. The lone wolf is a wounded woman. You can be a leader. You can be an alpha female. And do you know what the alpha does in a pack? They're in the back of the line helping to push the other wolves forward and keeping everything in line. They're not isolated. Get that out of your fucking head. We need each other. We need community. All right, you guys. I'm going to wrap up this episode here. We're coming up on an hour. We're probably going to have to do a part 2. If you want to learn more about this work, you can join me in the coven. You can check out my new Yoni course. The links are going to be in the show notes. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Want to be part of an online community filled with other badass women supporting each other on their wicked journey? Check out my online community, the Wise Woman Network. We have classes, courses, online community meetings, and more. Activate that sleeping goddess within and unleash your divine power. Join me today on a free trial to all my listeners. Link is in the show notes. I'll see you there.